I have a message for you. Stick around only if you feel called to. Always remember that you can pause this video and you can ask your guides if this message is for you. But let's dive on in here. I have sat on this message now for like 4 days, and it was originally, I thought, was a message for me, and it was definitely collective, including me. Which, I mean, you have to remember, us readers, these messages are for us too. You know, we are part of the collective. We're healing, we're growing, and we're part of this journey with you. Now, I sat on this reading because of the card that had come out. I was using my fairy deck, and let's just dive in here. I have Lees of the Shadow. And if you can see here, she is breaking through the darkness. You know, I am going to read from the book because I feel like it's important. And then I'll go with like my interpretations afterwards. Because I do feel like, just as a side note, that when it comes to reading, it's not just about what the book says. It also is your intuition. These are tools to enhance the intuition. And normally I don't pull out the book. I'm very intuition based. But because I sat on this message for a couple days, it was like, okay, I want to get everything that was needed for this message. So when it comes to this card talks a lot about healing the shadows, okay? Addictions, bondage, self-esteem. And I'm just gonna read and then we'll go from there. Lees works hard. She has a very tough job to do, and she puts a great deal of tough love into it. She prowls the night streets looking for those in need of her help and finds far too many of them. Lees is a fairy of social workers, therapists, healers, and all others who would try to help alcoholics and drug addicts and other souls caught in the darkness of their own inner shadows, or who are abused by those who should have protected them. Sorry, I had a little thing pop up there. However, she doesn't sit in an office somewhere. She is out there on the dark and dangerous streets, lending a healing hand here, soothing an extinguished brow there, whispering comfort and encouragement into a lonely ear, and bring a touch of hopeful rainbow light into the deepest shadows, including those in darkened human hearts. Like Loom, so Loom is like a fairy that sits in like the pond, so she's very earth-based, very, like, I'll pull her card after and we'll look at her, but her wings are tattered and that, but she's happy there. She is happy giving to others in that environment, so to speak, but we will look at that card. So much like the Loom, her work flows through the hearts, and then in brackets it says, and the hands and words of humans who make themselves available for such work. She inspires souls to connect with one another in a healing way. Her specialty is help for the hopeless, for the ones that most everyone else, including themselves, has given up on. And the sun's like, the sun just lit up this whole room. The street people is the lost children of our society, those who have fallen through the cracks and rips in our feeble society's safety net. Like the Loom, she often works through human hands, and she may call upon you for help in her work. Out of curiosity, I asked Lies, it's L-Y-S, so Lee, why she chose to have her cards in this particular group of fairies. So like the tarot, so in tarot there's like 22 major arcana and like something. Anyways, there's another number of the other card. Like they split them up into these categories, similar to like, you know, a bicycle card deck when you're playing with like Ace of Spades, you know, King of Hearts, like all the different categories. This deck is similar. So he asked, why did she have her card in this particular group of fairies instead of the one before, where she might have expected to be more at home? She shrugged, gave me a cheeky grin, and said, these guys know where to find the best nectar and nuts. Even though she has wings, our Lees is very down to earth and practical. And then they also have a starter reading, and I am going to read that. Ultimately, Lees is trying to help people develop true self-respect and self-esteem. But she has to start much further down the scale of idealism than that. She tries to inspire practical help for those who need it most. She is an inspiration for the first wobbly steps taken by a damaged soul towards healing. Her presence in a reading indicates that something that has seemed lost and fixed in that loss is now open to heal. Someone is ready to begin. With help, the climb of the someone is ready to begin. With help, the climb out of the inner mire. There is hope here, and a need for loving kindness and tempered by practicality. If you call upon Lise for assistance in helping another, she will always give it, often by encouraging that person to be receptive and others to also be helpful. She always has time to support those who have time for others. You know, even reading this, I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, but it's really hard to not cry. As somebody who, this is my 6th year, I'm almost 6 years sober. I'm even starting to shake because it really touches my heart. And I really hope this message, whoever this message is for, you're definitely somebody who has walked through the darkest steps, who, you know, has chosen to heal. And I feel like whoever you are, you could even be in a hermit mode energy where you've been down your healing road and you're like, what's next? You know, I feel like whoever you are, you have a very big purpose in this type of work. You are needed. It takes sometimes to walk a mile in someone else's shoes in order to understand them. You know, I remember, and this is going back, my sister's house had burned down. And I remember my family, it was like a year later, and they were like, she was still struggling with it. And I remember the family saying, I can't believe she's still struggling over this. Like, and I was even one of those people who judged from afar. And then my house burned down. Like 2 years later, me and my husband and my daughter's house burned down. I still am trying to recover from that day. And it took for me to walk a mile in her shoes to understand her story. Now, I also seen a post the other day of a friend saying, like, you know, oh, you can't be hanging around with junkies, or you must be one, in other words, short form, okay? It depends on the person you're talking about. This is why we shouldn't judge. If you are designed to walk in this journey, you will be able to handle being around these type of people, because you are meant to be in their life. You are there to inspire. Okay, or God would not put you in that position. Like myself, I am starting classes again. I did them last year and I'm doing it again. I was supposed to start them sooner, but I also was painting a window for that same building, so things have just taken a little longer, right? I was gonna post my work. I still might, but this really hit home for me, because I've had people, like, I literally do art and healing, and I sit in our methadone and Suboxone clinic. Like, I sit right in the waiting room with my table set up and all my paints and art and whatever we're doing for that class, and I hope that somebody walks in and will sit down and join. I get a lot of people that want to hear my story, and I have no problem telling my story. If anything, I'm a little too open about it. But at the same time, you know, if we keep hiding those ourselves, even our shadow self, how are we ever going to heal, right? And I feel like whoever you are, this message I get is very specific. But whoever you are somebody who's walked the path of addiction. You are somebody who understands it, and you've come out the other side. Spirit's knocking at your door and wondering, will you take the call? Will you answer? Because I feel like whoever you are meant to walk down that journey, just like Lise, to help those who are ready, those who are willing to sit down and listen. Because I feel like, I have this saying, old keys don't unlock new doors. And you know, the system is obviously cracked, we'll say, okay? And it takes new ways of being, new ways of thinking, and this is where you come into play. So, you know, whatever has helped you, share your journey. For me, it's been art and spirituality. It's